Hey, good morning, everyone. Hello. Yes. You can say hello too. Hi, everyone. It's Rita from Miss Rita to the Rescue here for Cricut Chat this morning. It's Friday. Yay, it's Friday. Friday is what, guys? 3D Friday. 3D Friday. We always try to do something that's a little bit off the flat mat on Friday, and so today is no different. We're going to be doing a number of cards from our friend Laurie Whitlock, who is sort of the master of 3D cards. We're doing these box envelopes today. That's what they're called, a box card envelope. Box card envelope. I'm going to show you most of them. I'm still putting together one of them, but I just want to show you some of these. This one says Happy Camper, and actually this is the only one that has a different saying on it, but I like this one because it has a different saying, and it's making use of the envelope with the mountain. Here is this one. I think I might go back to, good morning, Shelly. I might go back to the drawing board on this one. I didn't use a patterned paper here, and I really think that would matter. And my butterflies, I don't know why this cut out in blue, but still, see what these are? They're a box card, which means they fold flat for easy mailing. And so these will fit into a regular envelope, and you can mail it at no additional postage. And then when the recipient opens it up and takes it out, they can sort of unbox it or make it into a box, and it looks very 3D. This is a variation of a box card. Look at this one. It's a cake in an envelope. So it's a kind of an interesting variation of what we've been doing. Box cards. Hi, Susan. And hi, Nancy. And so I want to show you, they're not much different than a box card, but there are a lot of variations. Here's the cherry one. Very cute. I think this one is just it came with happy birthday. So I think I'm going to go back and change it to something else. And look at this one. Look at the bee. Isn't it cute? So cute. And then the last one is, it hasn't put it all together yet, but it is a strawberry box card. So we're going to put these together. Now, these are paid files. So this is something that you wouldn't get with Cricut Access. But if you want your hand at box cards, I'm going to show you where you can find free to access subscribers box cards. Okay, so if for whatever reason you didn't want to purchase these box cards from Laurie, you could always try your hand at a box card by using your Access subscription. We've done those before, but I wanted to give everybody an opportunity if they wanted to make a box card, because essentially a box card is simply defined by the fact that it can open up after it's been put in an envelope. It folds flat for easy mailing. That's what a box card is. So we're going to do some of these. These are her latest. She's been making box cards for years. And if you want to check her out, she's at shop.Lori, L-O-R-I, Whitlock.com. And that's where I'm actually showing you right now. This is the strawberry one that I'm putting together. So when you buy something from an outside designer, the image comes in, when you purchase it, comes in as an SVG. A lot of people don't know what SVG stands for. It means scalable vector graphic. And all that to say, it's going to, when you make it smaller or larger, it scales correctly. You know, sometimes you get those pixelated images that you get an image, you try to make it bigger, it turns really pixelated, or it's kind of hard. That's that's the difference with a scalable vector graphic. So it makes it good for use in these machines, in our Cricut machines. Okay, so there's that. So let me just, before I get into it really deeply, let me just say hello to everyone and remind you that first of all, we have our Zoom call tonight for anybody who wants to come. I did post the link and the passcode. Thank you, Lynn Collins, who is actually in the hospital. I think that we'll be able to have our Zoom for longer than the regular 40 minutes. Tonight is show and tell. So I want you to bring something you're particularly proud of. It could be a card. It could be a, ornament or a sign or anything. Just bring whatever you feel proud of, and we can all ooh and ah over it. These will go into a 5x7-inch card, Melissa, because of the top here. It needs to go in that, and when you fold it like this, about 5. Yeah, 5x7 is going to work for these. That's the other thing about Lori. She's like me. She doesn't include envelopes in her files, but that's okay. You can buy envelopes at Michael's or online in great quantity. And why waste your crafting time making envelopes? I mean, it's good for odd size things. Okay. So tonight is our Zoom call that's free to everyone. Feel free to come. It's at 7:00, and hopefully we can go a little more than an hour, and it is show and tell. There will be a couple of prizes too. I'm also going to be setting up my monthly joy giveaway, the bundle of joy, which is a joy machine plus a whole bunch of stuff to get you started with crafting with your joy. So if that's something you'd like to own, then you're going to want to tune in and find out how to do that. And that will start tomorrow and will run for 2 weeks. So that's starting. I'll mention it tonight. Then also as a reminder, no class on Saturday night because I am teaching a class locally in person. And so can't make Saturday night because it's right smack dab in the middle of my class. The other thing I want to mention is on Monday, I just found this out this morning, my friend that I talked to you about earlier in the week that is starting chemo, she starts on Monday and she needs to go to Dana-Farber. So she's looking for a ride in, and I said that I would take her in to Boston, and she has a ride back but not in, so she needs to be there at 8:30, and I may not be able to make Monday's class because of her. If I do, I'll just kind of give you an update as we go along. Okay, so let's get to it. So here are the envelope box cards. Let me just show you all the different ones. She has some that are on sale right now, but I would recommend waiting until if you want. So these are the newest ones that she has on sale. And there's the birthday cake, and there's the camping one. So I bought those 2. And then if you scroll a little further, you'll see there's another group of them. This is a wedding thank you. This is just a just because sailboat one, a lemon, and then a birthday balloon one. And then here's our bee. And then she has a bundle of envelopes that all are birthday, happy birthday. So I think that I would change that. And that's, these are her latest and greatest types of box cards, just so you can know. So we're going to go to Design Space, where I have all of these cards. I actually put them all into one file, but you don't have to do that. You can create a file separate from the others if you bought like 1 or 2 or whatever. And we'll and you know, you could do that and whoa, I don't know what, hey, stop. So you could do that. But let me just save this and I'll show you what you would do once you purchase one, just as a reminder for some people that might not do this very often. So we're going to start new, just like you would start new. And we're going to go to upload. Okay, that is the last choice on the left-hand side. And then, now this is after you purchase the SVG, okay? So once you purchase the SVG and you download it to your computer or to your device, okay, and you can indeed do this on an iPad or a mobile device. So don't think that you can't do that. You can do it on an Android as well, but to show you, I do this on my laptop because it's a bigger screen. So I would go to upload images, and here I can choose browse. Okay. Now, what it opens up is my downloads folder. Okay. And you see, I have a lot of downloads in here. So I need to take note of what this is called. And this one here is called LW for Lori Whitlock. Box card envelope birthday cake boy. That's pretty explanatory. So, and I love Lori, the way she names them. Is it really easy to find after you're done? Now, then you just pick this and you're going to import it. But before I get there, I want to just say, so what happens is I have a lot of downloads here. And if you're the same way, what I would suggest that you do is to create on your cloud or on your Macintosh something called a documents file. And in documents, I put all my SVGs and I break it down from there. So the three biggest designers that I order from are, Lori Whitlock, SVG Cuts, and Dreaming Tree. So they each have their own. Let me just see if I can go there to show you. So I have all my SVGs in one folder, and then I break it down by designer. So that makes it easier for me to go in search of the SVG. And this is important only because some designers don't let you download as often as you want. Like, so even if you purchase, they don't let you download these things forever. There are some that do, but some don't. And Lori is one of those. So you usually only have like 6 downloads and 3 months to download your files. And I think she's moving away from that, but that's just important to note that to hold on to SVGs somewhere until you're ready to do them, just make sure you download them after you purchase. Otherwise, you might forget to get it in time. So here's what it comes in as an SVG, and I'm going to just upload this, and it's going to come to my little recent uploads file, and you'll see there that's where I also uploaded my pictures and Penny's picture when we did the mug. I also tried this print then cut, thinking I would use that instead of a pattern. And so all of my uploads kind of just reside here, right? And they can stay here or you can remove them. It doesn't matter. But then you would, when you come here, you'd still go to uploads and choose the one that you want. So in this case, we want to bring in the birthday cake one. Sorry. So there are a couple things about this or any file, and that is that the designers cannot attach the pieces the way that we're used to using them in Design Space. Okay. And so what I'm doing here is I'm just removing all these extra pieces here, and I'm getting to the base of the card. So here's the base of the card. You'll see that it has dash cut lines here. That's to serve as scoring. Now, if you don't want the dash cut lines and you want to use your scoring wheel, you do need to upload the file that says solid with Lori. And let's go back so I can just show you. So here it is. It says box cut. It's the same name, birthday cake boy, but it says solid. By bringing it in as a solid, you can then change the line. So I'm going to show you that. Let's bring that one in. And unfortunately, there's no real difference here. And when you do this eye, you can't even tell what the difference is. So it's really kind of a thing you have to keep an eye on. All right. So let us look at this one. Whoops. let's look at, come on, you guys, move over. Make some room, make some room. Okay. All right, let me just group this back together. Okay. So this is the solid one. Let's ungroup it. And I will show you what you need to do. Now, if you were to cut this out, just by this, without making changes, you actually will cut. This is a cut line. You need to change it to a score line, okay? So select the two pieces. That's this one and this one. And move over. Come on, you guys. All right. So you need to select this piece, and you're going to look over into the right-hand navigation over here. And you'll see I have selected that big piece, and you'll see that there's two actions under this particular cutout. It says basic cut, basic cut. The one that looks almost invisible is your score line, or soon to be score line. So what you need to do is click on that and then have just that selected, and then come over here to operation right here, and we're going to do a pull down on the operation, and we're going to change it to score. Okay, now you'll notice that it looks a little different, and that's an indication this is not a dashed cut line but a score line. But you still need to attach these two pieces together. So once you switch it, hit attached, and now this will come out, and when I do cut it out, it will ask me to put in my scoring wheel or my scoring stylus so that we can complete the job. And the scores are important, so let me just go over that again. So here it is. It's a solid line cutout. We're going to highlight that over here. We're going to choose the part where almost looks invisible, basic cut. Then we're coming back up to the top left hand side to operation, and we're choosing score. Okay, and then now that it's showing the score lines, we still need to attach it. So select both the score and the piece that you're going to cut and hit attach. The other thing that I want to mention about these cards is the sentiment. So they come with this little cutesy sentiment, and when they come in, they're basic cut. They're cut. So these are extremely small. Let me see if I can find you. There, here we go. So it's pretty small. And so I decided to switch it to, come on, you guys, stop. I think the UPS man's outside. So I decided to switch it to write with my pen. And then I just used my plain old black pen to do it. You can, however, use, as we've done actually earlier in the week, you can use vinyl and cut it out in vinyl, or if you wanted to, you could flatten this and do it as a print then cut. Personally, I don't like to do print then cut that often because it wastes a whole sheet of paper. So to be honest, I would either, if I was going to do this as a print then cut, I would make a bunch of them, and I do it separately. I'd make a bunch of them and do print and cut so I wouldn't be wasting too much paper. But in this case, I'm just going to go over here to this item where it says basic cut, and I'm just going to switch it to a pen. Again, going back up to operation and switching it to pen. And then here we go. We're going to select them both and attach. Okay. The other thing that I want to point out about some of these cards, well, first of all, she does put this in here just so you know what the width of the SVG is supposed to be sized at. And that is not necessarily for you. Somebody asked me earlier, like, how do you size Lori's cards? to be honest, most of your cards come sized exactly the way that they should, and you don't have to worry about resizing. And these will fit into, as I mentioned, 5x7 inch envelopes. But she does give this to you so you would have sort of a feel for what's the size supposed to be. Because have you ever tried cutting a file, sometimes from Cricut Design Space, and it turns into this itty bitty file? You think it's going to be a big card, and it's tiny. So that's what this is there for. You can just delete it or hide it, and then you can go along your way and cut this out. Now, one of the things that I found on this particular file is a problem, and that is with this part, the candles. You see this? It's open like this, and it's not closed off. I'm going to mention it to Laurie, but when this cuts out, it will literally just cut out the almost upside down U shape and not across here. So I suppose I could fix it. I didn't notice it until I was doing the cutout. So what you're going to do is you'll see this cutout, and I just cut it from the paper using my True Control knife. That's only on this one, and so sometimes, she has one or two things that are maybe incorrect, but she's really cool about hearing back on what we need to do to make it perfect. And she's clearly designing a lot of these. So let's go ahead and put these together. What was that? Sorry, late but got lost in writing your column. Oh, that's right. Nikki is a writer. She writes for her local newspaper in Florida. I think in Florida, Nikki. All right, so let's put these together. I did cut out all of these. Let me show you them again if you came in late. I did cut them all out, and I put together a sample, and then I have also a cutout so we can put them together. So there's the bee. These are very simple box cards. They only have one insert, and they do a lot of work on the front here where the envelope is. But otherwise, just sort of, a normal box card. So there's the bee. Here is the birthday. Here's Happy Camper. And here's the cherry and the butterfly. I think I'm going to do this over because not only did my flower get stained, I really would like to use some patterned paper on this. I like the way that the pattern paper looks. Okay, so we'll put all these together, including the we'll do the strawberry one first. Okay, so this is. Sorry, I have to rearrange myself. So for the record, just so that you know, Lori doesn't generally offer any kind of guidelines or help to put these together. So you're kind of on your own. So what I tend to do is I go to her site after I purchase them, and I look at the picture really, really well. So that's what I'm going to do on my screen. And so I can have a look at what this is. So this is the main piece of the card. I'm just going to move all my pieces over so that they're here and ready. Okay, so this is the main piece of the card, and I cut it out in red, and then I put the liner inside right here. And I want to mention, if you're going to do these, don't put the liner in there before you close the box, because you don't want for it to overlap. Now, I did put not a lot of glue here so that I could close it, but I wanted to mention it to you that you need to close the box first, okay, and then put your liner on. But so there are our score lines, our dash cut lines, and here is our tab. So we're going to fold all of those score lines and put a little bit of glue here, and go ahead and put it on the inside edge of the card. It will look nicer if you do it on the inside edge, just like this. Now make sure when you do that you can still fold flat, okay? Because you want to be able to get it in an envelope, okay? So there is our basic design, and now we just need to decorate it, okay? So let's decorate it then. This was an interesting thing that I thought of when I looked at her file. I thought, I don't know that I would have done it this way, but it was really clever. So on the front of the envelope, you have, you know, the tab or the flap that comes up. And so she did it by putting this piece here and then this piece. And I guess I wouldn't have done it that way. I would have probably made these two pieces, but I thought it was pretty clever. So we're going to put a little bit of glue onto that main base or the bottom of the envelope, I guess, opposite of the flap on the top, like this. Let me move a little tiny bit. Okay, here we go. And center it really nicely. And then we're going to take and put some glue on the piece that we just glued, and we're going to close it up, and so it creates the look of the flaps just like this. Okay, and then we can go ahead and glue these on here, and there's a little bit of room on either side but not on the bottom, just so that you know. It's supposed to be like that. Okay, then she gives you these two little pieces, so we're going to put, and I cut this out in patterned paper, but you could do solids, or you could even do pattern fill if you wanted to. You couldn't find a paper that you really like. Remember, we can do the pattern fill to create your own papers, your own digital papers. So there's that. So that's the sort of outside. We have to put this decoration here. And then let's talk about the back flap. So the back flap is going to consist of, oh, I forgot to tell you one thing. It's going to consist of, and I'm glad I just remembered. Okay, this green piece and these white flowers. Now, the way this comes in, the white flowers are not attached. I would weld these into one piece, because dealing with these individual flowers and putting them on there will drive you nutty. So I just grouped all of them. I still need to put these three individual ones, but I grouped all of the ones that were touching and I welded it. Okay, so remember to do that when you are putting these together, or you'll go mad trying to put all of those little tiny flowers onto your back flap, okay? And I'm just dotting the glue. Don't need a whole lot of glue here. I'm actually going to come in and use my precision tip. This is a Barely Arts precision craft glue, it's called, and I am loving this kind of glue right now, and it has a pretty precision tip, but I'm going to bring in the even more precision, the precisioner, the more, I don't know what the word is, but anyway, so we're going to put on these are the only three flowers we have to put on for the back flap, so that makes me happy. And here we go. Now, when you're dealing with these little teeny tiny pieces, and some of these pieces with Lori's box cards, or her cards in general, can be very, very small. You may decide not to deal with that and use something else, such as a marker. So like oftentimes she'll do these like yellow centers for flowers. So if you would rather, just go ahead and fill it in with a yellow marker. It's your project. You do with it what you want. So here's the back flap piece, right? And then we're going to just glue this one. And I'm rushing because I want to get through all of these cards for you, if I can. So you'll do it much better than me because I'm a little rushed and wanting to get this to you. Okay, so we're getting there. Now we have pretty much the whole outside done. We still have a few more things to do here, but let's address the insert that makes it a box card. And it's this one here. And you'll see these outlines for the strawberries and some leaves, and some flowers too. So we have these cutouts. And I want to make sure, whoop, I got it backwards. Do I have it backwards? No, this is for the front. Duh, Rita. So this is for the front piece right here. All right, let's put that on. Oh, I thought it was for the back, but that's okay. So I'm just going to glue this onto the front and come back and put those strawberries on. And when you're putting these together, just follow, it's like putting together a Lego. Just kind of follow the background, and she sort of lays it out for you. Maybe that's why she thinks that she doesn't have to give you too many directions. She sometimes will do a little video that explains the whole grouping. She might have done one for this, but we're doing the insert. We're putting together the insert, and I am looking at the picture so that I can see that I'm putting this together right. But they're pretty easy to figure out once you've done a few of them. So here we go, and we're going to have flowers. So we have these flowers here. And those have the little yellow things, as I said, and they're over here somewhere here. I think it's here, right like that. Look at how tiny. So you might want to use your pick 'em up tool, or, you can use something like this, like a weeding tool, and put it in place. It's so much easier to do it that way than it is to try to put it in place with your fingers, because you end up with a lot of glue on your fingers, and that can get annoying. I don't know, if it's sort of like breading cutlets, I hate that. Oh man, that's my worst. That's the worst thing, breading cutlets for chicken or something. You get all that egg and everything on you. Yuck. All right, so gotta, use your head here. And there is the back piece. Oh, no, still got one other piece to go. This is the precision, the ultra precision, or whatever you want to call it. The mega precision background. I don't know. All right. I'm getting a little punch drunk, I think. So, all right. So here it is. Again. Use your tools. And so there is our insert. You'll notice too that this insert has two tabbed areas. You're going to fold those in. And then we're going to, you can do this without the glue at first, just to kind of get a feel for it. And we're going to put glue. Actually, I'm going to use my non-precision tip because I need more glue. More glue. All right. Try to keep these sort of folded in like this, and then nudge it into here and have the edge of where the tab is right here against the side. Okay, it's against the side, and then you're going to switch over onto this side and make sure you do this side next. So what you want to do, and I do this all the time, is once the glue is still wet, I always try to fold it back and forth to make sure that it's in the right place. If you can't fold it all the way, it means it's in the wrong place, okay? So just to give you an idea of what we're doing here, see how this is like this, and that insert does not come all the way down to the bottom here, okay? And then we just have to decorate the front here with our strawberries. And do we have a flower for that? I think we do have a flower. So we have 2 strawberries and two 2 flowers, I think. Now, you know, you can gild the lily here if you wanted to and choose all kinds of different things. I've seen people do that, and I will just give you my little rule of thumb, and that is I try to limit the patterned or the special kind of paper to 2, and I only do it for the embellishment pieces. So for in this example, I only did 1, and this was the one that I did, but I probably wouldn't go more than 2 because it sort of distracts from the card, and so in my opinion, and so I tend to do mostly solids with 1 or 2 patterns. So there you go. We've got a couple of flowers to go here. Here's one. And I do believe, yep, here's another. I do believe that these even have those little yellow things. Crazy, right? Actually, this is supposed to be there, not there. Okay, we're almost done. Let me just put those little yellow centers in there. Boop. And boop. And that is it for this. Oh, not it. We have to put our little happy birthday. But if you didn't want it to be a birthday, you don't have to do that. It is quite small, and you could just dispense with it. I don't think you'd need to add it if you don't want to do that, and you're not giving it as a birthday. Isn't it adorable? Really cute. Let's move right along. So that one is the strawberry. Let's do the bumblebee next. Okay. The bumblebee also has a lot of pieces to it, but it's the same concept. Here is the main piece. See, we're going to fold it at all of these dashed cut lines, just like this. This is the back, and we're going to fold it like this. Okay, and I'm going to bring out my bumblebee just to kind of give an idea of what we're going for here. And so we're going to fold it all, and we are going to first glue the inside piece. So that's the same thing for all of these, right? Make sure you can swivel it around. Then we can do the outside envelope part, which again, it looks like this. So I cut it out of this beehive type looking paper, which I like. And I'm going to put this on there, and then I'm going to put the sides on. If I can find the other side. Here's the other side. Okay, so we're going to do that. And I tend to, I just caught myself, but I tend to put the glue on the piece that's going on rather than gluing the main piece. It's just my way of doing it because sometimes the embellishment has little cutouts and whatever, and you can avoid having extra glue sort of seep out by doing it that way. So here is the envelope, the front of the envelope, I should say. And then this piece, which actually does reach the both sides here. Now, I had a hard time with the beehive. Hopefully, I'll be better on the second time around. And that's one of the reasons why I always cut cards at least 2 times because, the first time you're doing it, it's a little bit difficult to kind of figure out. And the beehive is a good example. Mine looks very short. Here's my original beehive. It looks kind of squat. And I know that they're all individual, but I kind of wanted it to look taller. And so we'll work on it together for the second one. Okay, so here we go. Put in the insert to the liner piece to the card. See, real pretty. And then let's do the beehive next, just because, I don't know, I want to. There's 4 pieces to the beehive, 4 main pieces, and they're cut from slightly varied color orange, yellow. And I think I smushed them down like a sandwich rather than sort of make them higher. So I'm going to try not to do that and just put a little bit of glue on the bottom of each piece. I'm getting glue on my brand new mat here, and I wanted to put something down because I had to retire my old mat. It was so sticky, and I'm looking for a way to get the glue off of it because it's still good. It's just got so sticky, and it really kind of bothered me. So here we go. There are also little teeny tiny pieces for this project, and I hope we're going to be able to find them over here. Yeah. Okay. So we've got, for the beehive, we've got a little entrance because it has to be an entrance for that. So here you go. I suppose it doesn't really matter because they just sort of make their own entrance. Shirley, do you hear me? Shirley? I think Shirley has a bee problem. I think that's what she said. Okay, and then also there's a cute little flower. So let's go ahead and put that in there. And going to put the little stamen on like this. There we go. So there's my beehive. I think it looks better than the other one. This one looks like somebody sat on it, collapsed it. Oh no, they made a huge hive. Did you have, there are people that come and rehome bees. So I watched a fella, I think it was on YouTube, and he actually rehomes bees, and it was really quite fascinating how he did it. So you should check into that because they just need a place, and we want to encourage them because there are pollinators, and but sometimes they're just in the way of human life interaction. Okay, so let's do the bee itself, which is on the insert. The bee is several pieces, this being one of them. There's the black. Then we're going to put on this, and then the stripes and all of this. So it's really quite layered. Now, the other thing that you could do is if all these little pieces bother you, you could always flatten them. I know Nikki does that. She flattens them and does print then cut to make it easier. I don't like all these little tiny pieces, but I do like the idea of gluing them together. But sometimes I will switch to a print and cut if it's really intricate, like the images from Teddy Bear Parade. Oh, so many details there. Okay, so here's our bee, and he still needs his little eye. It really does make a difference on the eye, because the first one I put on, he kind of looked mad, and then I moved him around, and then he looked happy, or more bee looking. Okay, now she does also give you some extra of these. Honestly, I don't think you need them, but yeah, you could do it. And here is the first stripe. Goes here. Suppose I could have done that over the Okay, here we go. Cute, right? And there's our bee buzzing along, so we can do that. Let's put together, while we're here, let's put together the flowers that need to get put on the front. So here's the big purple flower, and it gets the big insert here. All right, so we got, and then we got 2 small pink flowers, and then a remaining orange one. So the small pink get little stamens in there. I don't know if I can find them. There we are. So this might be tedious for you, and maybe it's not a project for you to do. So just consider that. Now, there are like a few pieces. There's actually 2 pieces of greenery. And the way I figured it seemed to me like this piece was supposed to go on, but maybe has to go on here, but maybe sort of sticking out a little bit. So that's what I'm going to do, because there's like a little space and it's hard to tell from the picture. So let's try that. And we'll cover that up with the flower. You see? It's just the background. Do that first. Then the other piece goes sort of down here. And this is a very delicate piece. Sometimes if it's like too detailed too, I might just skip it. You know, like for instance, those antenna for my bee, like I just don't really need to put a double antenna on there. Okay, and then here's our flower. You do you, you know? This is Cricut Chat. We do what we want, right? It's for you. You're making it for someone or for yourself. So if you don't want to try it that way, then don't do it that way. Heck, this is, you know, life is short. Do the things you want to do. Here we go. I got to get into my Leah crafting because she started her master class, and it started on Monday, and I only did Wednesday. I didn't, because I've seen her in person before, and she's lovely. She is a lovely woman, and she's a good teacher too. So if you are a Leah, I think it's a little late now, but if you are interested and you are a Leah member and you're interested in crepe paper, designing flowers with crepe paper, she does run this master's program. I think that's what it's called. And so I signed up because I am a member. And so I'm like, good thing there's no tests on this program. But she's good. But there's an additional cost. You have to be a member of her website. But there's a lot of SVGs. So we're almost done here. We just need to put the happy birthday on and put our insert in there. So let's do that. You know, you could also find a sticker that you could put in there. There's lots of options. Don't feel like you have to follow all of them the way that they're designed. Okay, so here is the tab. So we're going to glue the inside of the tab like this and fold in here and then just sort of nudge it down. And we're going to get that tab onto the side and then the other one in the exact same place on the opposite side, you see? And then close and open a couple of times, make sure it's set. The glue is still wet and sometimes it will kind of come off of the edge, but just keep you know, an eye on it. And then there's your bee. Let's do the one. I like this one a lot. I didn't know that I would, but I like, and also the ice cream. Not the ice cream, the birthday cake one. But I really like this one, so I want to do this one next. If I can find it amongst all my stuff. Here it is. Okay, so let's do the camp one. Hope I have all the pieces here. So this is the camp one. Happy Camper, it says. And we're going to fold here, just like the others. Like this. Let's get this closed up first. And instead of having that liner, what she's done is she's taken some mountains. She put mountains in there, which I think is really cute. So this will go in here. You need to give it some, like, sky, like that. Possibly, I don't know. I don't know if I did it all the way. No, I didn't really do it all the way to the bottom there. So let's glue that. Nestle this in here. Make sure you have enough sky showing. All right. And of course, it's like when you go to Utah. When I've been invited out to Utah, every time I've gone, there's snow on the mountaintops. And even in like May, there was snow on the mountaintops then. And of course in January, yes. I'm trying to think, when I went in July, I didn't see the mountains. I don't think there might have been snow there. I don't know. Holly would know. Holly's from Utah. But such a gorgeous backdrop. Oh, so amazing. It almost looks painted. It's so beautiful. We don't have those kinds of mountaintops here. So it was just breathtaking. So stunning. It just kind of just takes your breath away looking at them when you go out for your morning walk. So that was pretty awesome. So if you live in Utah and you're not taking advantage of getting outside, then shame on you, because it's pretty amazing there. Okay, and I'm just putting these little clouds in. All right. So there are the little clouds. And let's do the trees next, kind of mix it up a little bit. So the trees are cut out so that you have, this is the insert, and it's in 2 different color greens, and you're going to place the small one here over, and then you'll end up looking like you have a forest, which I like. And we're going to just glue that on. You guys will be much more precise about this, and you'll just do it better than me. But I just want to give you the confidence that, you can do them, because I think sometimes they buy these SVGs and they get a little bit like, well, I bought it. That's particularly for those larger ones. I bought it, but I'm not sure how to put it together. I'll make it someday. I've got some of those files too, and I've decided that I am just going to just go for it. Even if it comes out crappy, I'm going to just go for it. So there are actually 2 house structures that I want to make this summer. One is a Victorian home that is amazing, and it was a design from Mary from SVG Cuts. I'm doing it this summer, guys. And they're also an Eiffel Tower that I've been dying to make, also from Mary, and then a castle that I want to make from Dreaming Trees. So I hope you'll join me when we dive into that. Okay. I think my trees are a little crooked. Yours won't be, obviously, but, you know, it is what it is, right? I'm not a big fan of that phrase, but I could use it for this case. All right, so here we go with the rest of the envelope. And these papers are all from Michael's Best, what do they call them? Best Buys or Hut Buys pads. I did not use anything other than that for these. Just so you know, if you're looking to, you know, do the same thing. Let's put these little pieces on. So who's coming tonight to the Zoom call? Lynn, the poor thing, is still in the hospital. She set it up for us, but she's still in the hospital. She said she has some sort of an infection on her foot, which is too bad. All right, so let's do the camper itself. It's 3, well, maybe 4 pieces. So there's the base. And then it has this over the top. And then this piece comes here and it becomes where we put the door on. Cute, right? She has quite a few little camper type things. She has a 3D camper too, which I really like. I think I probably bought that one too. She keeps coming out with so many files. It's hard to keep up with her. I bought the light up ones, but the actual lights were kind of cost prohibitive to buy. So I want to do the opposite of like she offered two different ways of doing it. You can buy the completed light, or you can do like a copper like on off type of thing, and I think I want to do the cheaper one because it's cheaper, but also because mostly because it's cheaper. Be honest. You know, sometimes you spend a lot of money on crafts, but I just placed another order from Ranger Ink, and so that should be coming anytime. And I also got a new heat gun because I couldn't get my heat gun to work. So I haven't used it in a long time. So I got a new heat gun so that we can start doing our embossing with embossing powder in an embossing folder. So that's going to be fun. And then here we've got a few flowers that we need to do. And then we'll be done with it. These, once you get the hang of it, go together quite quickly. If you have to make a lot of them, I would suggest you cut everything out first. That's what I do. And I make these little piles. And if you're concerned about all these little pieces, I take sort of an old mat, because, you know, I don't like to clean my mats. I really should, but after a while, you end up with piles of mats that need to be cleaned. But they have just enough stick to them that they'll hold all your little mini pieces that you've cut. So make like a pile and cut them and put them on that mat. And then when you go to put it together, they'll all be together. You won't accidentally have knocked it over or whatever. So I'm thinking that this needs here, we'll give it a white dot. Too much glue on there, Rita. What are you doing? Do as I say, not as I do. I sound like a parent. Okay, so then we can take and put our little camper on there. So stinking cute. And our very messy looking flower. It sort of goes off to the side anyway, and is optional. I think there's supposed to be another, yes, there's supposed to be another flower here. So let's do this. Put it right here. And then the sign and this little flower. And then we are done. Now, one summer, I think it was 2018. It could have been 2017. But one summer I got on this kick where I was doing this farmer's market downtown Peabody, and I really didn't want to sell anything, but I wanted to just kind of display what I did. And more like, just kind of a display and being part of the community and stuff. And so I made 100 different box cards and brought them all to the farmers market. And then I also was going to speak at in Utah at their summit. There it is. Isn't it done? So I brought them all with me, right? Isn't it cute? Let's do the birthday card one next. So I brought them all with me downtown, and people were like, you made this? I'm like, yeah, well, on a machine. Because I didn't know then that I shouldn't downplay. I'd be like, well, it's a machine that does it. But heck, I put it together, picked out all the paper and everything. But anyway, later on in the summer, I was asked to teach a class at the Cricut Summit. That's what they called it. Mountain Summit or something like that. We're putting together the birthday cake one now. So I brought them all with me, and it included Anna Griffin cards, included Lori Whitlock, Mary from SVG Cuts, Dreaming Tree, because they make some really large ones. And so I brought them all with me. And I put them out like as a display. Where's my birthday card one so that I can show you? There it is over here. Sorry. And in between classes, Anna Griffin walks by, right? And she said, hey, those are my flowers. I thought it was hilarious. And I said, they sure are. They sure are your flowers. And, we sat and talked for a little bit. And I told her, I think you should make these in Christmas ones, like those box cards in Christmas ones. And she was like, that's a great idea. And I just never followed up on it. But I think if I did come up with something, I think she'd be pretty pleased with it. I think that would be kind of fun. All right, so I did not use a patterned paper on this one either because I wanted it to just be all about the cake and the candles. So this is a 2-tiered cake, and my mug press from yesterday. Yeah. So I don't know why, but it all of a sudden needed, for some reason, to be reactivated. So I had to plug it back into my computer and go through like a few buttons activating it. And then it was fine. And I was like, what? But yeah, I was on my way to talk to Cricut at the time. And, I also found out yesterday that the new maker is in the mail, or will be in the mail today, I guess. And it's going to be, she asked me what color I wanted. I said, you know what? I'm not fussy. Because she said, well, we don't have any more blue ones in stock. And I said, well, at this point, I've had the rose and the lavender. So anything other than that, yeah, right? Did I have the lavender? I had the rose one. And she said, how about champagne? I said, yeah, let's try champagne. I think people will like champagne. So that's what we're getting. Hopefully in a couple of days. Next week sometime. Okay, so I just put together without telling you, but just so you could see. So there's the insert. Now you could find birthday card paper. I think that would look real cute, but I decided to do it all plain. And let's put together the front of there. That's where the second tier of the cake goes. So yeah, I got the new maker coming. My very slow computers, I decided that I would get some external storage for. And so that's coming today. And I've got some embossing stuff on its way. I got a new embossing gun, and I have to dig up this weekend, the all of my folders. Oh my gosh, I have so many embossing folders, but I'm running out of room here, so I need to move stuff around. So this weekend will be good because it's nice weather and everything. I can move some of the furniture and set up more like tables to work from. Then it will really be like a workshop. And maybe we can set something up where people could come on a Saturday night or something. We could do it together. That would be fun. I got a couple of local friends. I think that would be a lot of fun. I would also like to, as I think it was Emmy or maybe it was Judite who said, why don't you have other people doing a class, which I think would be great, like on a day that I couldn't do it, and that would be awesome. But I don't know necessarily how to accomplish that, so been thinking about that a lot. All right. So we're just putting the little candles on. And the flames, aren't the flames adorable? But they're very tiny. So I'm using my little, and I could be using my pick 'em up stick, whatever that's called from, I think a lot of you got that. And we're running over the hour, so this will be my last one. That's 4. I think that's pretty good. We did good. And where's my other flame? Oh, I'm going to have one that has a blue flame because I can't find that little tiny, tiny flame. I'll find it as soon as we get off, of course. All right, and then there is just the stars. What y'all doing this weekend? Anything exciting, good, or just we're just now getting our good weather, so we're I think wanting to be outside and do some outside things. I staked my peonies yesterday. And so that's good because they get real top heavy when they start to flower. So they need a little support. They're like little peony bras. Oh. Okay. Stay there. All right. So there it is, and we got to put this in there. Oh, we also need to put the happy birthday sign, if I can find one. Here it is. This would look really cute with like glitter or like shimmer paper or something like that. And what's funny is she has a boy and a girl, but I don't know why she did that because, I mean, they're almost exactly alike and you can make those changes. I just bought the boy and I figured if I wanted to make it girly, I'd just put some pink and flowers on it, you know? So, and then we put the insert in and there we go. And then that's it. Isn't that great? So I know I promised people if they didn't want to buy these cards that they could buy them. I'm sorry, they could find some in in Design Space. So I want to show you where those are so that if you wanted to do those instead, you could. So let's go back to Design Space. Whoops. All right. And let's just, I'm going to just delete all this. Okay. So we would go to Images. Under highlighted categories, this is the left column, we're going to go to image sets. And there is an image set called All Occasion Box Cards. So I just typed in box, and here they are. But there's also Anna's window box cards. So these are designed by Lori Whitlock. So if you want to get a feel for her graphics and stuff, then you can have a look at these. I've done every single one of these. They're all adorable, and they make gorgeous box cards. People love them. I've even done the wedding one. And most of them are just kind of these tall squares, but there are some that are short and squat. Look at this cute snowflake one. So there you go. And then also, we've done these before, but the Anna's window box cards are here, and those are free to all access customers. So here you go. She only has one base that's the same, and then these are all print and cut elements, and we put those together, remember? So if you are not looking to purchase from Lori, you can buy them. You can find them on Cricut Design Space. They're not the latest ones, but they're still fun to put together. And so I would encourage you to try them. These box cards are so much fun. They're just fun. Wouldn't it be nice to send this to somebody, I don't know, a shut-in, or anybody that would just really like a little card. I give them to my sister. She puts them up in her office, and so she switches them out from time to time. But there's this one, so cute. Or for your card box, okay? So I just made 12 cards. There's the cherry one we didn't get a chance to do. And then the butterfly one, which I have to send back to the drawing board because I don't like it's too plain. So I hope you'll try that. I have 12 new cards to put in my card box, and I hope that you enjoyed that. We'll see you tonight if you can make it to our Zoom call. Get the link on my Miss Rita to the Rescue page. I will post that also on YouTube, so that if you're watching on YouTube, you can get that info there. We'd love for you to come, Linda, and other people that are mostly on YouTube, and we will see you later. Thank you so much for coming today, and I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you later on tonight. Okay? Take care. Bye.